What's going on, LEGO fans? Welcome back. Alex here. In this video, I will be ranking my top 10 Mocs. If the term Moc is new to you, it is simply an acronym for my own creation. Many LEGO enthusiasts, such as myself, build Mocs to create a unique look to our displays. They come in all shapes, sizes, and themes. Basically, anything that is built that is not a LEGO set can be considered a Moc. My list will consist of Mocs of my own creation. Since my main display is a LEGO city, the majority of my Mocs will be city-based, but not all. I'll start with the number 10 and go down the list. I'll give a brief description of the build, why I built it, as well as the approximate cost in US dollars. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Number 10, the red steam engine with cars and caboose. I was pretty late to the train collecting scene, and one of the best themes LEGO had come up with was the My Own Train theme, which ran from 2001 to 2004. This was during my dark ages, which is what LEGO enthusiasts refer to as the time they were not actively collecting LEGO. As a result, I missed out on buying these when they were still available from LEGO. This theme was popular because it allowed you to customize your LEGO trains. Just the train engine options alone gave you different lengths and colors to choose from. Some years ago, as I was looking at possibly buying some of them, I was quickly discouraged by the very high prices from private sellers. But then I thought, maybe I could build something very similar with the parts that I already have. I gave it a go, and not only did I create the engine, but I was able to build 2 custom cars as well as a caboose that is based closely on the caboose from the theme. After it was all done, I had completed my first train Moc. I had previously done some diesel engines, but building a whole train was a new level for me. The estimated cost to build this train was approximately $150. Number 9, Blue Soldier's Fort. The recent release of Pirates of Barracuda Bay earlier this year rekindled my love for those old pirate ships. As a result, I have been on a quest to collect pirate-themed sets from the 80s and 90s. While I've had some success at finding a few pirate ships, I have not had the same success with finding forts, whether they are pirate or soldier-based forts. I should clarify, it's not that I can't find them, it's just that I'm not willing to pay the very high prices that sellers are asking. After I purchased another Pirates of Barracuda Bay set so that I could have the best of both worlds, a ship and a shipwreck, I realized I would have an empty little island with nothing on it. This gave me the idea that I should use it to build a fort. It was a great head start. I used the cannons from the shipwrecked Barracuda Bay in my city, as well as the soldiers in an unopened pirate-themed chess set that I had in storage. It came together nicely, and now the pirates have some law and order on the seas. The estimated cost of this Moc is about $200. Fairly expensive, but still cheaper than most of the forts for sale from private sellers. Number 8, City Bridge. I've always wanted to have a large bridge in my city, but the necessity for one has always been lacking. It has slowly evolved over the years into what you see now. There are 2 LEGO sets that have helped contribute to the build of this bridge. The first is set number 6600-2, Highway Construction from 2000, that has supplied the supports. Not to mention some very useful bridge plates that are very versatile. The other set, number 7900 Heavy Loader from 2006, which has supplied these large gray Warren-style supports. The rest? A whole heck of a lot of Technic beams and pins. The bridge has a very important purpose, connecting the downtown area to the suburbs, allowing safe passage over the Ninjago River below. The bridge had to be designed to allow for very wide cars to cross. It's actually wide enough to allow 2 8-stud wide cars past each other, something not possible on many LEGO road plates. In addition to this, there is also a separate walkway to allow pedestrians to cross on the bridge. The biggest challenge with this was to make sure it didn't become an eyesore. It is placed near the back of the display and is partially hidden by Ninjago City. I would estimate the cost of the city bridge to be about $350, a lot of that coming from the large quantity of Technic bricks and 8x16 gray tiles. Number 7, Oil Refinery. This Moc is still pretty new, just completed in March of 2020. I was ready for a new challenge, something that would require a very different approach to building, but still fit nicely in a city. I was a bit overwhelmed by the amount of amazing Mocs already created by others of refineries and power plants. It was clear I would need to change my way of thinking to make this all work. I can't remember being more frustrated about building a Moc than with this one. I must have torn it down at least 3 times before I settled on a good layout and design. Even then, getting all the pieces to form as many pipes and cylinders was a slow process. After completing it and posting my video revealing it, the LEGO community was very nice to me on their constructive feedback. Even those who actually worked at refineries were kind in their advice on what I can improve. It can be a very scary thing to put your creations out there for people to judge. I am grateful that the LEGO community is always so positive when it comes to others' creations. The oil refinery fits very well in the industrial side of town. It has allowed a place to employ a lot of construction workers who have been standing around my city doing nothing. Even Homer Simpson has a job here. The estimated cost of this Moc is about $150. Number 6. Lego City Temple. This is definitely one of the oldest Mocs, well over 10 years old now. It came by way of suggestion from my wife that I have a religious building in my city. Since we are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I decided on a temple. Just building something because I want to is usually encouragement enough, but when you are encouraged by your spouse or significant other to build something, well, that's the best. I took several pictures of the Draper, Utah temple. It appeared to be a structure I could emulate with Lego bricks relatively well. I ordered all the bricks from Lego Pick-a-Brick online. There is no interior, but I did notice that you could see through the windows very easily, so I added a white paper along the interior wall to make it look like it has a frost lining or drapes over the windows. It does take up a decent amount of space, and I have been tempted at times to reconstruct it to a smaller size, but I always end up thinking it looks great the way it is. The estimated cost of the Temple Moc is about $250. Number 5. Sanctum Sanctorum. Based on Marvel's Doctor Strange, the Sanctum Sanctorum is my first and only Moc made to stand right next to the LEGO modulars. LEGO modulars are known for their incredible detail, both inside and out, so I had my work cut out for me. I bought 2 of set number 76108, Sanctum Sanctorum Showdown, to get me started. The facade would depend on the pieces from this set. But I wanted this to be more than just a pretty face. I wanted the interior to be just as fun and detailed as the exterior. That meant making not only the interior of the Sanctum Sanctorum, but the pizzeria and Peter Parker's apartment as well. I also purchased set number 76060, Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, to help furnish the interior, as well as add this interdimensional beast to the side to create some fun as people view this side of the city. I mostly enjoyed building this Moc, but was at times frustrated by the lack of pieces to truly make this a modular. Specialized or unique pieces are usually the biggest obstacle in creating Mocs. The estimated cost of this Moc was about $250. Number 4. Avengers Tower. The idea to build this hit me when I was looking around the LEGO website and saw set number 76038, Attack on Avengers Tower, selling at a discount. As I looked at the design of this very small Avengers Tower, I felt like I could easily duplicate the design, but make it much bigger. I ended up ordering 4 of this set. When they came in the mail, I realized it wouldn't be as easy as I thought. I had to come up with a good base of the building before I could get into the fun of the iconic slanted A build. I also realized I needed a ton of windows. So many that I ended up making 3 Bricklink orders that consisted mostly of windows. Fortunately for me, several Bricklink sellers were well stocked with these parts at the time. While building it, I wanted to give it a modular design so I didn't have to create an open back in order to access the interior. The unique shape of the build required a different approach. While it is still modular, it comes apart in sections that do not conform to the traditional method of each floor. I also added a full interior, each with its own theme. While I did get some help furnishing this with the pieces and minifigures that came with the LEGO sets, I still had to improvise on a few levels, which included a weight room for Captain America. I had a blast creating this Moc. When it was done, it was the tallest building in my city for years. It also got the most oohs and ahs from visitors. Despite its amazing appearance, there is one thing that bothers me, and is the main reason why it's not higher on my list, and that is it has no stairs or elevator. To add this feature would have meant a lot more pieces that would push the cost of this expensive Moc even higher. As it stands right now, Avengers Tower has cost $365. Number 3. The Shmu Tower. I was ready to build something tall, so tall that it reached the ceiling, a ceiling scraper. I began searching for ideas on Pinterest. I found so many amazing buildings that my head was spinning. Unfortunately, whenever I priced out the potential cost of one of the buildings, it was well over $1,000. I decided to look at what I had that could help get me started. Then I saw my parking garage. It had a lot of pieces that could help build the frame. I decided to scrap it for parts. The color would be a dark gray, and the windows a translucent blue, a very similar color scheme to the Avengers Tower. I'd have to make sure that they were never close to each other. 3 pieces make up about 90% of the Shmu Tower: 16 by 16 plates, 2 by 2 bricks, and 1 by 2 by 5 translucent blue bricks. There are currently 748 of the translucent blue bricks in the tower alone. I really wanted to build it modular style, but the cost of pieces would just be too much, so I went with the open back. I still wanted to make sure it can be moved, so I made a way for the top 4 levels to be removed. The Shmu Tower features a working elevator powered by power functions. A track made up of several Technic beams run along the exterior to guide the large elevator. At its core, the Shmu Tower is still under construction. The empty interior and the open back make this painfully apparent. I do want to add windows to the back as well as make it modular, but this will take quite a lot of pieces, so stay tuned for that. The Red Mike's building was formerly the Shmu Tower, but there's a rule in my city that the tallest building is always the Shmu Tower, which I'll explain why in a moment. After completing it to the stage it is at now, I noticed it was leaning. It was so heavy that it was bending the plywood beneath it. I added another support to the very back of the table, so now it stands up straight. The name of the tower may raise some eyebrows, but the name Shmu was the nickname of my youngest brother, Aaron, when we were kids. He was an amazing artist, and he always drew pictures of a large metropolis with what he called the Shmu Tower at the center. Aaron passed away at the young age of 17 in a car accident many years ago. Ever since his death, I have always tried to include his Shmu Tower in my Lego city as a way to honor his memory. It is finally to a scale indicative of his design and is the cornerstone of the downtown area. The total estimated cost of this mock so far is about $450. Number 2, the Minneapolis City Hospital. Like the Shmu Tower, the hospital has been built and torn down several times. It gets bigger and more detailed with each new version. This is the current version that has stood for almost 3 years now. While it may look pretty basic on the outside, it's the interior of this hospital that puts it so high on my list. As some of you already know, my wife is a registered nurse. I consulted her a lot on the interior details of this mock. She seemed to emphasize the need for a really nice break room. I'm not sure why that mattered, because when she gets home from work, she says she never had time to take a break. This mock likely contains the most pieces of any other in my city. 2 things made sure of this. It is built in true modular style, which requires a lot of smaller pieces to enable the separation of each floor, and the fact that each floor is packed with interior details. My personal favorite is split between the lunchroom and the nursery. It also has a working elevator that can be seen moving from floor to floor, giving you that sense of a complete building. You may have also recognized the name. The city is named after my wife, Mindy, so it made perfect sense to name this mock the Minneapolis City Hospital. The total cost of this mock is estimated at $400. Number 1, the Minneapolis International Airport. Similar to the Shmu Tower and Hospital, the airport had gone through several shapes and sizes, but nothing close to how you see it now. I was getting bored of the same generic look I'd always given it, which usually consisted of a flat gray roof that just looked depressing. I wanted to do something I'd never done before, and I wanted it to be big. Not necessarily tall like the Shmu Tower, but make it look like a modern-day sporting arena, which are popular for their innovative roof designs. Obviously, the roof is the attention-getter here. The curved design is possible thanks to the use of several curved train tracks. The design is not new. Many creators have commonly used this technique to add roofs to train stations. I designed the roof first because the size of the building would depend on its ability to properly hold the roof in place. There was a lot of trial and error to get the dimensions just right. I also did not like the fact that the ends of the roof would expose the ugly ends of those train track elements. This resulted in creating a custom cover at each end of the roof to both match the building as well as cover the ugly train tracks. As you can see, it is very difficult to see any remnants of the train track pieces, even though it contains 36 of them. The roof also contains 432 of the 1x2x5 transparent blue elements, roughly 2/3 of the amount used in the Shmu Tower. The roof alone weighs over 7 pounds. It is removable, but if not handled properly, it can buckle under its own weight, as my wife discovered one day trying to look inside. Fortunately, she stopped in time before it broke in half. The airport is more than just a pretty face. It has a full interior that can compete as an indoor city. Restaurants, shops, bathrooms, and even a police station are found inside. Truth be told, there are 3 airports and a police station that I have scrapped for their pieces to make this possible. One of those airports is set number 6396, International Jetport, from 1990. Its iconic curved windows used to separate the airport shuttle station and the view past the security checkpoint. To honor its sacrifice, I paid homage to its vintage logo by recreating a large version of it on the floor by the main entrance. The airport mock was finished in February of 2020. It took months to put together, mostly waiting for pieces from Lego Pick-a-Brick. I also did a recent renovation to improve some of the interior features just last week. As many of you already know, mocks can get expensive. Despite this mock being the costliest so far, I feel like it wasn't as much as one would expect. The roof has cost me $300 in parts I didn't already have, leaving the total estimated cost of this mock to be about $650. That is my list of my top 10 mocks. If you are interested in learning more about any of these mocks or how they were built, I encourage you to look them up in my channel, as most of them do have reviews. I know there are many amazing mocks out there from others, so please be sure to check out what other creators have put together. As always, thanks for your support for my channel. Your views and your feedback are what keep me going. If you like, you can follow me on Instagram at alex.u.noons or join my Facebook group called Alex's Lego Collection, where Lego enthusiasts can share their creations with others from all over the world. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.